Welcome back to German for Beginners. Today we are going to talk about the 5 most common mistakes learners make and how we can fix them. I'd like to draw your attention to these mistakes today because they are really very common. And it's important to correct them as you progress to an intermediate level. Because later on it becomes increasingly difficult to correct words you've got used to. You can watch this video if you're a little bit of an advanced beginner and see if you find all the mistakes. And if you're just starting out on your journey, you can focus directly on these points. So let's get started. First, let's talk about mistakes related to the verbs. Specifically incorrect verb forms or conjugations. Habt ein Auto. What's wrong here? Haben is an irregular verb. And in this example there was put a T at the end, which is correct for the regular conjugation, but haben is irregular. So we have to look at the conjugation of haben and we have to say hat ein Auto. So it's very important in the beginning to learn some of these very common irregular verbs and of course master the regular conjugation. Second example. Ich habe in die Stadt gefahren. What's going on here? So to get it right, we need to distinguish between 2 categories. Most verbs are conjugated with haben. But when we have a verb of motion and are moving from point A to point B, as in our example, we have to use sein. So we must say, ich bin in die Stadt gefahren. So you can always decide whether you imagine, is it a movement from point A to point B? Or you can learn the list of these verbs because it's not that long. Gestern, ich bin ins Kino gegangen. The original basic sentence you'll learn in the beginning is Ich bin gestern ins Kino gegangen. But we can take gestern and put it in the beginning. But then we have to put the verb in the second position. This rule is extremely important for simple main clauses. So you need to know it as a beginner. Or another example. Ich muss gehen zum Arzt. Here we have 2 verbs, an additional modal verb. And we need to pay attention to the verb position now. That means our modal verb has to be in the second position and the other verb goes to the very end of the sentence. It doesn't matter how many positions we put in between these 2 verbs, the second verb has to be last. So take a look. Ich muss morgen zum Arzt gehen. So now we have time and place, but still the verb is in the last position. This is what we call the verb bracket and it's very important. Articles are a major problem for learners because we have 3 of them. And the noun itself doesn't tell us which article we have to use. However, it's very important to know the correct articles because otherwise we can't progress to get the cases correct or to decline adjectives. We do have some rules for endings that always fall into one of the categories. Das ist die Mädchen. The ending chen means we always have to use das or ein. So the neutral article. So even though a girl is a young woman, because of the ending, we have to use das or ein, the indefinite article. If you're serious about learning German, please take a look at my books. You can perfectly work with the books and the videos in combination. Dieses Thema ist mehr interessant. That actually sounds good, doesn't it? Mehr means more, but is that really how we form the comparative? No, unfortunately not. We have to change the ending of the adjective. So we have to say, dieses Thema ist interessanter als das andere Thema, zum Beispiel. We always do that, regardless of how long or short an adjective is. Of course, there are irregular forms here. Dieses Thema ist gut. Das andere Thema ist besser. You can also use more, mehr. Ich habe viel Geld. Du hast mehr Geld. But we can't just put more in front of the adjective to form the comparative. That's not possible. Ich sehe der Hund. The verb sehen requires the accusative. So we have to change the article from der to den. It is important to learn these cases right from the beginning, because otherwise your German will be very hard to understand. So we have to say, ich sehe den Hund. Okay, then we can say, ich spiele mit den Hund. No, here we have to use the dative case. The preposition mit is always followed by the dative. Hier der becomes dem. Ich spiele mit dem Hund. So now please take a minute and let's do an exercise together to repeat all those topics. If you like my content, please consider subscribing and leaving a thumbs up. Thank you so much. I hope this video has helped you. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one.